Good morning. Yes, it's 12:12 again. I went to bed over 2 hours ago, or actually at 10 o'clock. And at midnight I was still awake, so I quickly got up and uh, prepared for the message for today. And I've entitled it, The Wisdom of Galileo, Preserving Freedom. I admit it. I have no idea what I will do in court later today. Advice has been coming from all directions. The last two times I was in the court on this matter, I had a plan of what I would do. In neither case did I get to do it. The proceedings moved forward on the agenda of the court and did not allow my plans to get off the ground. Not that I have total freedom, no one does in this world, but I do know that preserving what freedom I have is of prime importance. Thank God for the wisdom of Galileo. Freedom is extremely important to me, and so are rights. And after I did the video 24 hours ago, I was able to fall asleep fairly quickly. Well, within an hour, maybe. And I got some rest during the day today, or yesterday. And I went back and forth on, do I get hard-nosed and stand up for my rights and try to get the court to do what I want them to do? Or do I compromise? And compromising goes against a part of my grain very, very much. And that's the truth. However, getting arrested and put in jail goes against my grain even more. So I will be cautious in how I proceed tomorrow. And I don't know which direction I will take, but Aristo Menes Christos Papageorgopoulos sent me a really wonderful, as he does pretty much every day, I think every day. He always has a commentary on my video. And his commentary today, I'm going to actually read at least part of it, because that was the one that probably gave me more peace of mind than anything else that was given to me today. And he wrote, "In my opinion, the right decision depends on you." Indeed it does. Your path and weighing the situation accordingly. Galileo had proof the earth revolved around the sun, and the Vatican threatened him with torture if he did not retract his writings, which they had confiscated. He apologized, retracted everything, and was released. Then, from a safe location, he reprinted everything. If he had stood up to the church, his work would have been lost. But that was his circumstance. In your shoes, I would look at this as a mugging. The mugger tells me to hand over my wallet and I won't get hurt. If I get killed, my work is stopped. Then again, when my pocket was picked by a gang of thugs in the Madrid metro some years back, I grabbed my wallet back from the hands of the thug who had it and said, "Bring it on." That was in public, so they laughed and left me be. Every circumstance on its own merit, in my view. The court is a lie. Any admission of guilt is a lie. But a lie forced from your lips under duress is not the same as a lie spoken freely. In your shoes, I would change my actions of contrition spiritually, with energy to work to bring down the system. It's a yoga thing. So in acting, I would still be true to myself, just as Galileo was true to himself, to the benefit of science and humanity. But I am not in your shoes. You are. The form of being true to one's self is not the same for everyone, although the psychos do twist that statement around to their manipulative ends. The essence of it, however, is, and to me that essence is your own internal sense of right, taking everything into account in your own inner transparency. I trust that any decision you make will be the one that represents you to yourself, not to the con jobbers. The insanity of dealing with peaceful resistance to arrest shows how much of a scam the system is. Gandhi, according to them, is a criminal. And if the police come to my home and slap me around, I'm a criminal if I don't thank them for their trouble, regardless of why they were there. They think you will invalidate all you say by capitulating to their symbolic, no big deal demands. That's what they thought of Galileo, for Galileo too. He did what was right for him. So did Gandhi. So will you. And it is that which leads to triumph over injustice. I'm going to go down. I'm going to read another one. I doubt they will let you change the judge. Do not waive your rights. I'm afraid the current judge will find you in contempt and you will find yourself behind bars. The good news is when ascension time comes, it will not matter if you are serving time in jail or in your home. You will ascend. In case there are no more morning videos for you, I want to thank you very much for all the wonderful sharing. You are fighting a good cause, and you will be remembered as a sovereign individual who fought the system. Good luck, thank you, and God bless. So there's two extremes. And I have no doubt that the judge would like me to behave in such a manner that he would be justified in putting me behind bars. And I really appreciate what Aristo says about Galileo and about Gandhi and about compromise. I admit that 2012, I have probably had less freedom than I've ever had at any time in my life to date in 65 years. For 2.5 months, from the middle of February till the end of April, I was pretty much confined to my home, fearful of venturing far out for more than a half an hour's time, just to run to the store or the post office or the bank or whatever to do local business, but not attending any meetings. I only attended one meeting, and then I hired somebody to stay in my home because I was told that if I left my home for any period of time and the police came by and would see that no one was home, they would consider it abandoned, change the locks, and lock me out of my own house. So for 2.5 months, I stayed as a prisoner in my own house. And then less than a month later, I got arrested and for driving without a license in my own home, with no warrant, no reading of my rights. I still, to this day, have not seen a warrant. I have not seen what the charges are. I've never been given a summons for driving without a license at any point in time. I was told that a summons existed, and when I responded to the sheriff's department to let me know what the nature of it was, there was no response. The first response was the arrest. And then I spent another 1.5 months asking people for rides, not even getting behind the wheel of my own vehicle, which is no longer mine. It now belongs to the trust. But I finally did work my own compromise there, and I finally did get a driver's license with all my rights reserved, written right on the license. And I registered my vehicle in a trust, and I no longer own my vehicle. So it's registered as a trust. It's property of the trust. In fact, I've put all of my personal belongings into a trust, into trusts. So I've taken what steps I've taken, and I have fought a valiant fight in the system of bringing to their awareness, certainly in the documentation that I provided, their awareness of what they are doing and that it's wrong. And this is registered with the cosmos, with the universe, that I am standing up not only for my rights, but for the rights of all humanity against a system that is a criminal system. I mean, they make criminals out of people that are totally innocent of any criminality, which is what they've tried to do with me. So whatever happens tomorrow in court, my intention is to keep on speaking out, to keep on doing what needs to be done, and to do the best I can to work toward the ascension, toward the awakening of humanity, toward the turning of the tide. Now, I would like nothing better than to be able to go into that courtroom tomorrow with Gabriel on one side and Michael on the other side of me, and maybe Saint Germain and Jesus, and the Buddha wouldn't hurt either. I would love to go in there armed with 10,000 angels, and I'd like to be able to, if I get threatened for speaking the truth, and have it being called contempt, and if the bailiffs were to come, that I could freeze them in their tracks so that they couldn't move. I mean, wouldn't that be a wonderful gift? I mean, I believe it's possible, but do I believe I can do it? No, I'm sorry. I don't have that much faith because it's never happened for me. Whenever I've gone out on a limb, most of the time, the limb broke and I ended up falling. And that does not instill a sense of confidence in me. And many, many other human beings are in that same boat, and I admit it. I'm not going to pretend to have faith that I don't have. I mean, Spirit has been trying to tell me all day today and yesterday, Ron, or I should say yesterday and the day before, Ron, it's in my hands. You're safe. You're okay. I've been hearing that message, but there's a part of me that doesn't believe that message. And that's my truth. That's where I am right now. I was very, very much in a safe place over the weekend listening to angels, specifically to Jackie Ivanko, and other angels too, but her especially. And I was in touch with that part of me. But I'm in the real world, or I should say the material world right now, up against a matrix system of a corrupt court and a corrupt judge, and I've prayed for that judge. And yes, I do believe that God can change his heart. Do I believe that's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I really don't. I do know that I'm going to be in as much integrity as I'm able to be, and even if I have to take their offer, I will make it in such a way that they know that it's basically under duress and it's not a valid contract. And so it will not hold up ultimately, because I will admit and plead guilty to the truth, but not to a crime, because I committed no crime. I committed no crime whatsoever. And I will stand on that, and I will state that because it is the truth. There was no crime ever committed by me in relation to this matter that is before the court. The crime is all, I am the victim of the crime in every situation, and they are the perpetrators of the criminal action. That's the truth. And that's the truth not just in my situation, but in most situations. Most people that are behind bars have not done anything wrong. They have not committed a crime. They are being held against their will, and the system is making out like bandits, literally, in taking their assets that they don't even know they have, because we don't know how rich we really are. Most human beings don't. And they're taking our assets in the form of the securities of our birth certificate and our driver's licenses and our social security cards and all of these other things. And they rob from us. They steal from us, right and left. The judges, the police, the politicians, the corporations. It's all a game of theft. And folks, that game ultimately is coming to an end. If it happened yesterday, it wouldn't have been too soon. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm trusting it will happen this year. I'm hoping it will happen this year. If it doesn't happen within the next few months, uh, I don't like how the world looks. I listened to Drunvalo Melchizedek today, and I don't like a thing that he had to say about what he sees happening. I mean, he's one of those that sees cataclysm everywhere, and I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I don't buy the cataclysm. Maybe I'm a wishful thinker and a dreamer, but I do believe that in inspiration and intervention, and I believe that Spirit will intervene in world affairs and help those of us that want a better world, to bring actual peace on earth. That's the promise. That's the promise. And I do believe, even though it's hard in the individual situation, I do ultimately believe that God has promised to bring a better world for humanity, and to help us create that better world, and to create heaven on earth and peace on earth. And that's what I live for, and that's what I strive for with all of my being. So anyway, I've gone over 16 minutes already, and I guess I've wrapped up enough. I've told you where I am, and that's all I can do. And now I'm going to be able to go and get some sleep and not worry about oversleeping. And so far as getting up to do the video at 4:44, I don't have to because it's done. Namaste. Thank you for listening. Keep me in your prayers, and anybody locally that wants to join me in the court. It's Judge Murphy's court, 9 o'clock in the morning in Vieira, Florida. Appreciate your observation, being there as an observer. Thank you. Again, namaste.